there.
We're wearing the same thing.
It's just the best. I can't help but
So
just
left
do it.
out.
It's a really great. The thing I like to do with it because the sleeves are so big is I stick my elbows down the back.
It works.
Little
I have
T-Rex
long
arms.
Palpatine. No, I mean it.
Yeah.
Good. Anyway. Katie, do you want to introduce our podcast then us?
Do I?
Yeah, you do. You do.
Leave.
Just do it. Do it.
Hi
Do
everyone.
it.
Do it.
Stop. Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome to all the films we judged before. I'm Katie. That's Lily Kay, and we are once again joined by Brian. Huzzah!
Hello. So,
Yay.
Huzzah!
We're all here.
We're all
Look at
here.
us. Look at us.
Who would have thought?
Who would have done? Not me.
ignore me.
Anyway, enough of the references because we are here on business. We are very organized now, as you could see it in the last week's episode. We are very organized. We know what we are doing. It's not just going to be like, tangents all the way. So we can jump on to our next segment, which is the movie news that Katie collected for us. So, movie news.
Okay. Well, I haven't got very many things this week because a lot of the news is quite. I mean, there's like little bits of news, but I'm really only picking the major news. And even this, I feel like I've only got one piece of real major news. I'll start with it because it's kind of the saddest one, unfortunately. And then we can go on to some more slightly more frivolous movie sort of news. And this is still fairly fresh as of recording this. Poor Chance Perdomo passed away due to a motorcycle accident. He'd only obtained the motorcycle probably about a day or so before and been posting about it on Instagram. He was 27, which is, literally
Way
not that
too
much
young.
older than me.
Yeah.
I turned 27 in a couple of months, that kind of a thing. Obviously, understandably, Gen V Season 2 has been postponed until they figure out what to do. And also to give people time, I guess, to grieve, because, makes sense, and all this sort of stuff. And I just wanted to put at the end, please be careful on motorcycles, everybody. They are big, dangerous machines, and the roads are very unsafe. Just look after yourselves, basically.
Could I say something really fast?
Yeah,
on that?
absolutely.
I have a friend who was friends with him who knew him in the UK, and apparently he was just a lovely guy. And he was, to me, when I heard that he passed, I cried quite a lot because to me he was. I mean, I didn't know him personally, but his acting was just so authentic, and so heartfelt. He was the best part of, to me, Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the show, and the parts I saw of Gen V, and I just was really looking forward to seeing what he did next. And it's just such a loss, not only in terms of his passing and his family and his life, but also I think people who are so artistic and have something to say when they're gone. It's such a shame and such a loss for everyone. So I just really want to put that out there to his family and to him as well. That I just hope that people can find healing throughout this time. So
Yeah, I fucking hate these freak accidents. Like, it was. I was instantly reminded of my dearest Anthony Elchin, who was also gone way too young because of a stupid car. Like,
James Dean as well, 27.
James Dean, yeah,
It's like this
yeah. And it's
stupid,
like,
horrible-
I've only seen Chance in Jambi, and I thought he was brilliant. Like, I was looking forward to see him in many more things, really. So yeah, fuck motorcycles. That's what I always said. That's what I will always say. And yeah, rest in peace, Chance. You'll be missed.
Yeah, just be careful out there, guys. All right, to completely switch gears. We're going to put that one to the side and move on to a little bit more, slightly more frivolous, but a little bit more light-hearted stuff. Freaky Friday 2 is officially happening.
Yay!
Emotional whiplash. Yeah.
Hey, I tried to pad it as much as possible.
You did the best you could. I understand.
This is very funny for me because Freaky Friday is one of those movies that I very intently grew up with, and is one that it became a little bit a part of the lexicon in my family. My mum still like says make good choices to me, which is one of those, bits that is just evergreen for us. One of those movies I watched a lot as a kid. I know it very, very well. Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis returning, and then I just wrote, fuck knows what it'll be about, but it could be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I just, I love their dynamic. So I think if they are gonna get into the right hands, it's just gonna be fun, and sometimes that's all we need. So I was very happy to hear that because Lindsay Lohan deserves the same redemption that Robert Downey Jr. got, if I'm completely honest.
So true.
So I'm hoping for the best here.
Yeah, me too. And then my last one that I got, really,
Yes.
that's kind of my major piece of... I got a little bit serious at the end here, so forgive me, but I feel like it needs to be said. Screen 7 continues to its rocky road, with Courtney Cox now back in discussion to return.
Oh, yeah.
In that, a lot of people left, a lot of people were unjustly fired, and that's my kind of main point here. This is where I would like to remind people that Melissa Barrera was fired for posting pro-Palestine content and was fired for being anti-Semitic. I've read the comments; they were not anti-Semitic.
No.
So just like whatever you want to do with that. I've never been particularly invested in the Scream franchise, but I'm definitely not going to be in this one. I just find it very interesting the amount of jumping in and out that has been happening as a result of people, having other projects, but also there's been all of this other stuff on the other side of things as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to be completely honest, like I watched all of them because I was like, why not? But it's the same thing over and over and over again. And I think the only thing that made it interesting in the past, like 2 or 3 years, was actually the 2 new main ladies who are now gone. So like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna bring back the old cast again, and you're gonna be like, oh, it's happening again. We saw it 7 times at this point, so fuck
we've
off.
already gotten so far,
Yeah. They just shot themselves in the leg, and they are trying to do anything to save it. But it's like, I'm not gonna watch it. That's for sure. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the last thing I could mention, because I did read that article that you sent me, is that Alex Garland has apparently decided he's quitting directing.
Yeah, I was shocked about that.
I read the article and I was like, you know what? Fair enough, dude. I kind of feel you. It's a hard job.
It is.
From what I gathered, it was just a lot of like, it stresses him out too much, and he's like at a point now where it's like, I think I'm just going to stick to writing because I enjoy this part. That other part is a bit too much pressure for me right now, and it's like, yeah, go off, I guess.
Yeah.
Quite
that's fine.
interested in Civil War. We'll see if it's
Yeah.
any good.
Looking
I
forward to
have
it.
been reading some stuff that makes me a little like squinting about it because it seems like it feels like in its bones it should be quite political, but he's very intently trying to say it's not political, and that makes me a little worried. I don't know. I'm interested to see what it ends up, if it ends up being good. The reviews have been interesting for it. I will say that.
We'll wait and see. That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'm interested in it because Alex Garland's great.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he is he's quite the
Annihilation.
voice.
I love Annihilation. It's one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. And Ex Machina.
Oh,
I've been
yeah.
talking about that a lot recently because I've been really tempted to reread the book.
So
All 3 of
different.
them actually.
It is very different.
It is very different. I read the book first, and I find it. I really love those books. I actually found out very recently because I was thinking about it, and I was talking to a friend about it. I was like, oh, the last 2 books are actually got like there's a lot of very similar sort of DNA to Control as the game, and then I found out they were a massive inspiration for them, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I connected the dots.
Yeah, I remember reading that they were really inspired by the Southern Reach trilogy, but the books, are they a trilogy?
It's trilogy. I believe he's writing more now, but like
Oh, okay.
initially it was a trilogy. But I was
Cool.
just like, oh, that's so funny, especially considering the main character in the second book is called Control. I was like,
Right.
hey, there's something going on here.
That's fun. Yeah, the whole new weird genre. Yeah, was definitely moved, I guess, in that direction by the Southern Reach trilogy. Yeah,
For sure.
cool.
Anyway, but that's my news.
Yay! That
Segment
was
done.
movie news. That's gonna be the new thing I do.
We just do this.
Yeah.
Done.
Movie news. Just fade away. Wee.
Fade away. Fade away.
Fade away.
Oh god, stop putting more work in this for me.
Whoopsie.
I'm gonna just put things together.
Anyway, all right. The second segment of our lovely little podcast is
Amazing.
what did you watch last
Oh,
week?
right, that.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
still happening. It's still going. And we're gonna ask Brian first. What did you watch last week?
Well, I saw Dune 2 twice last week. And then Dune 1. And
Nice.
since then, I haven't been watching much, actually. I've been listening because I've been jet lagged and trying to uh, just restabilize myself.
Fair.
So mainly listen to a lot of podcasts, but everything has been Dune related. So that's my segment. It's not gonna be
That's
that interesting this week, guys.
that's all you watch. Just
Pretty much.
all Dune.
Did I watch anything else? Uh,
any TV shows.
oh yes,
There you go.
yes. Well, I rewatched Sherlock, the first season of Sherlock.
Holy moly.
Oh, nice.
Andrew Scott is my favorite actor, and so I
Yeah,
was just
no fair.
Yes.
yeah, I was interested to see where because I just saw Vanya, the
Oh god, I really gotta get to seeing that.
I saw it obviously National Theater
Yeah.
Live. I didn't see the proper in-person theater, but so I saw that and then he was just really moved by that. And so I was like, oh, let me just go through his discography. So I was watching Sherlock and just going back and seeing how good he was again and just how much he was 35. It was his first big role after Band of Brothers where he played kind of a big character. It was just really cool to I think maybe I'm wrong about that. There may be something in between, but it was just really cool to see how he just comes in with such a strong opinion in that show and that had never been done. So that was fun to watch back an older BBC show too. So but I
I
watched.
maintain that Moriarty is the best part of that show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Especially as I
Oh,
can't really like my brother was rewatching. I walked in on him watching Reichenbach, the Reichenbach full
yeah.
recently,
Yes.
and I was like, he's so good in it. There's so much stuff in this show that really doesn't age well.
Well, it was funny. I was showing my friend because I was watching the first season. My friend came over. He's like, "Hey, what are you watching?" I was like, "Oh, well." He's like, "I only watched the first season." I'm like, "You never saw what happened to Moriarty." And so this is a spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Sherlock. But
Oh, haven't
uh,
read
It's been
books.
10 years.
I know. But Moriarty at the end of the second season kills himself to try to prevent Sherlock from getting out of this situation that he's put him in. And my friend had never seen that, and so we watched it. He's like, that's what they did. He's like, I thought he just was in it for the entire show. He's like, but what happens? I'm like, well, they kind of got cold feet and they bring him back in a weird way. He's like, oh, that's such a lame thing. He's like, they should have just had him in for the entire thing. I'm like, I know. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Sorry, I did cut you off. You said you were going to say you were watching something else as well.
Was I?
Yeah, you start. Okay, maybe you weren't. I
I
thought you were.
it's
Gone
gone.
anyway.
It's all
So
gone. It's
I
all
will
gone.
pass the torch off to someone else.
Yeah, that's gonna be Katie. What did you watch?
I haven't been watching a whole lot in terms of like TV because I've been catching up on Critical Role. That's been my thing for the past couple of weeks because I was really behind, like early 80s, and they were on 89 when I was trying to start to catch up. So I spent a lot of my time, doing that. I am now caught up, not with everything on the channel because I still haven't watched a ton of Calendella Obscura. One day I'll get to it, but I am now re-caught up on the campaign, so that's good. But now I've done that, I've gone back to playing video games and I've started playing Final Fantasy 15. So
So it's
that's
gaming.
I'll go back to. I'm in a real gaming mood this year so far. It seems it's been nice to be able to like complete something. I don't know.
Fair,
That's all I got really.
fair. All
You
right.
go.
I go. Well, I remembered that last time I forgot to mention that I watched two movies actually. That just I don't know they slipped my mind, which is not good for them. Let's just put it that way. One of them is Out of Darkness, which is Kate Young's horror movie. horror movie.
Oh no.
It pulled the trick that I always hated, is that it introduces a very cool concept for a monster, and then it turns out that it was a person all along, and I'm like, the idea was good behind it, but like, no.
This is why Until Dawn is the best.
Oh,
Because
fuck yeah.
because on the one hand you do have, oh, it was a person the whole time, but also there are actually monsters.
Exactly.
You
Did
get
you
the
ever
best of
see,
both worlds.
did you guys ever see It Comes at Night?
Yes.
The famous movie where that was the trope where it happened was like, oh, it's a monster. The trailers are showing, the posters, it was just people. Again, spoiler alert. I should have said that before.
It's
Like,
fine.
it's been out for like 10 years. And it's like,
It's been out for a while now.
it's like, come on, come on. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't like when they do that. And it's like I especially didn't like it here because there's a kill in it, like one of the kills in the movie that is just impossible to be done by a human being. Just fucking impossible. And I was like, are you still gonna pull that? Yeah, sure, yeah,
Mm.
whatever. It was very weird. Ki Young was very good in it. Like,
He's a
I
good
didn't.
actor.
Yeah, he's a good actor. I didn't have any problems with the actors themselves. I just felt like that it was a good idea, and then they just, they just let it go halfway through. They were like, well, it's fine. Like, yeah. Oh well, I watched it anyway. I also watched Damsel, which I wrote an article
Oh,
on
Oh,
Couch,
right.
yeah.
and it was one of my honorable mentions on our most anticipated list. I was very excited for it because the first trailer was fucking amazing. It's shit.
I was gonna say it's naff, isn't it?
It's
Bit
like,
naff. Yeah.
I would say that I swear to God, I love Millie Bobby Brown. I think she's great. She's so bad in here. So fucking bad. Like, I was
Everyone
like,
was, everyone was bad in it. Angela Bassett was bad in it. It's like,
yeah, everyone was bad in it.
Bad direction.
Not,
yeah,
wait,
and
not
total
everyone. Not
writing.
everyone. We have to highlight the only very
The
good
dragon.
thing. The dragon.
Yeah.
Because
The
the
dragon
voice,
nailed it.
the voice of the dragon is actually someone I really like, and I can't say her name properly, so hold on 1 second. One
She was a
second, 1
voice
second.
in Assassin's Creed Mirage as well.
And in Mass Effect, and
Oh.
Ah,
that's how I know her. She's also a big part of The Extent. Shorey Agdashlo, that's the one.
Oh,
She's fantastic as
who
the
is
voice
she
of the dragon.
Who is she in Mass Effect?
In Mass Effect, she is Admiral. Hold on.
Is she the one with the really distinctive voice?
Yes, yes.
I know
that's her.
exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. She's that kind
She's
of
got
actress.
that really interesting tone. That kind of sounds like she's been smoking a lot of cigarettes, but like in a good way.
Admiral Shalaran.
Yeah, no, she's great.
Yeah,
she was the best part. She brought a
she
lot
she
of,
was so good, so good.
yeah.
And the most frustrating thing about Damsel is that they wanted us to believe so many things that were unbelievable. Like, I highlighted this in my article, and I'm not going to spoil my entire article. Go and read it. I'm very good at writing reviews. Just saying. But one of my pet peeves were she finds a secret hideout that apparently a ton of girls find before her, and there's a girl actually who like made a map of the entire fucking cave and went back after finding the exit and went back, drew it up on the wall, left it for whoever gets in there, and they want us to believe that these girls went through the exact same routes in a fucking cave and were
Yeah.
able to draw a map that Millie Bobby Brown's character can follow.
And yet none of them made it out. Do you guys watch one of my favorite YouTubers? I think it's Friendly Space Ninja.
Of course I watched it. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's my
he's
favorite as well.
Yeah, he's great. I've spoken to him a couple times via Instagram. He's a lovely person.
He's fantastic.
But he's really, really cool. But he did a review of this yesterday, and he brought up the same point.
Yeah.
I'm like, and it's like that one, the part that I didn't really notice because I was just like I was watching this. I'm like, it's silly, and I was tired. But the part that really bothered me, which he really highlighted, was when she's having that vision.
Yeah.
Where she's sleeping and everyone's like, it's a lie. And like when the princess and she wakes up,
Yeah.
that's never addressed again. Was that like a
No.
psychic? Did she just imagine that and it happened to correlate with real life? Like, what the heck was that? So yeah, that was.
No one knows.
Oh
The other
no.
thing I highlighted in the and I'm glad that Friendly Space Ninja kind of did it as well, but not as much as I did. The ending where Millie Bobby Brown just walks in like she's a fucking model, and just like
Yeah.
it's the cringiest fucking scene that I
Just
ever
like, his
like.
close up where she's like, it was so funny. I
Oh
Yes,
was,
my god.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
so
that was
badass now. Yeah.
and then the dragon's her family now, I guess, even though the dragon's murdered countless of women, and it's like, okay, interesting choice. So
I mean, the dragon could have worked. Like, I could have got on board with the whole idea behind,
sure, no, I was almost there. Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
close.
but like, yeah. Anyway, so I watched, so
Yeah,
I watched
Oh
Damsel.
dear.
yeah.
It's like, okay, sure. And then one complaint to the end of this segment is that I hate that Hungarian Disney Plus is once again fucking with me, just like the Hungarian cinemas, because I already complained about that. We don't get the Korean TV shows that are coming out on Disney
Uh,
Plus here. I am very annoyed because there are so many that I want to watch, but it's very important because I'm going to talk about this man in both of my recommendations.
Okay.
I finally got my hands on The Worst of Evil, which is fantastic, and this is a tiny recommendation as well, but just a tiny one. I'm not going to talk anymore about it because it's very popular. So it's like, we're doing underrated movies and TV shows that we're going to recommend for you all in the main topic. But yeah, The Worst of Evil is fantastic. Done.
Done.
That's what I
Okay.
watched. And now we're going to move on to our main topic, which is going to be surprise, surprise recommendations. We all picked two either movies, TV shows, or mixed up the thing, and now we're going to talk about them and hope that you can all watch them in some way or another. And we're going to talk first about movies. I'm guessing we all picked movies, at
Oh
least
yeah,
one.
I could do that
Yeah,
way. I'm,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm switching my pages over.
All right. Fun. Brian, do you want to go first? My
I
friend?
actually picked two TV shows today,
That's
so I know I'm breaking the programming already. Is that okay if I go?
fine.
Okay. I have one honorable mention, but I'll wait till the end after everyone else has
Yes.
spoken. My first one is something that probably no one has heard of. It's called
Okay.
Slings and Arrows.
Hmm.
It was a
I have not
Canadian
heard of it.
No.
It's a Canadian TV show made in the early 2000s. I think Rachel McAdams had her start, or like she was right before The Notebook. It's obviously it's not a documentary. It's not even a mockumentary, but it's a story about a fictional theater Shakespeare group in Canada, and each season has a different Shakespeare theme. And everyone I've shown this to, whether they like Shakespeare or theater or not, they fall in love with it. It's some of the best writing and acting I've ever seen. It's beautifully done, and it's very heartfelt and funny. So there's a lot of mystical stuff and very interesting plot twists. But it only went on for 3 seasons. I think the first season is about Hamlet, second one is Macbeth, and the third one is King Lear. So highly recommend that.
That's fascinating, and also a way better pick than either of my choices.
What was the title again?
Slings and Arrows.
I love Shakespeare, so I have to watch it.
Yeah, this is really interesting.
It's it
I wonder if it's on
phenomenal.
anything.
I believe it's on, I think Amazon Prime. At least it was for a while.
Okay.
I
That
have
doesn't seem to be anywhere over here.
the VPN, maybe a little cheeky VPN.
VPN. I have
Uh,
my ways. I'm sure I could get my hands on it somehow.
Yeah, we
yeah,
can get
yeah.
there.
I have the box set. And so
Nice.
I watch it occasionally, like every couple of years. But it is so great. And yeah, highly, if you can find it, definitely watch it. So
It's a
that's
fun
my
100%.
cast.
It's I'm already intrigued. I'm like, Shakespeare.
Yeah.
So good.
All right. Should I go with the next one? Or are we doing one at a time?
One at a time. One at a time. So let's go with Katie next.
Do you want me to do my movie or do you want me to do my TV show?
You can do the TV show.
Okay, so the annoying thing for me is that basically every TV show that I would love to recommend to people that people might not know, I've already done on this channel. So what I've done a little bit instead, I've done a little bit of a sort of sideswipe you know?
Okay.
And I'm bringing up something that I think a lot of people probably would have seen, but probably haven't seen in a long time, and I want to really highly recommend people go back to. And I think I may have mentioned this to you very recently, but I think people need to go and revisit Hannibal.
Oh,
Mm.
you didn't mention it
I
recently.
didn't? Okay,
No.
good. Because I recently have gone back to Hannibal. I've been rewatching parts of the first season. This show holds up so fucking well. It is, and I'm kind of fascinated by it in a lot of ways.
Okay.
It is, yeah, one, it holds up really well. The quality is incredible. It came out in 2013 on NBC, and the amount of stuff that they got away with at that time is bonkers because it's a really, like, kind of grotesque show, but like intentionally grotesque, in a way that is oddly beautiful in the way that I think that some grotesque things can be. The cinematography is stunning still. Everybody in it is brilliant. The cast is stacked.
It has Mads Mikkelsen.
It's
So of
got Mads
course.
Mikkelsen in it, but also, you know, Gillian Anderson, Raoul Espanza, fucking what's his name? In the Matrix. Why am I blanking on his name? Lawrence Fishburne,
Oh, yes.
Gina Torres. Like, there's so many incredible people in it. And just thinking about where we were in terms of like just culture, generally speaking, and how we were watching television at that time, it like it is incredibly ahead of its time in terms of just like what they managed to do on network television in the US. Because like at this point, we weren't really in the streaming era. We were like right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Netflix had started getting a little bit of like they'd started doing their original programming, but they hadn't like the streaming model had not really picked up yet. So, and I just really highly recommend if people have seen it, they should go back and watch it because if it has been a while, it's still like really good. It is one of those shows that honestly, especially nowadays, does not talk down to its audience. And not, in fact, sometimes like I'm still, you know, I'm 10 odd years older than I was when I watched it the first time. There's still parts of it where I'm like, I'm not sure I understand what's going on here. But like in a good way, in a way that never makes me feel like the show's being too obtuse. It's just that like I feel like I'm not quite with enough information to actually understand all of, especially Hannibal's intentions, I guess. What he's going for a lot of the time. And him, Mads and Hugh Dancy working off each other is like exceptional stuff. I just had a couple of friends who've been recently watching it for the first time, and it's the production around it, even beyond all of the stuff that's actually the content of the show, fascinates me beyond belief. I just highly recommend people go back and give it another go if they haven't done so in a while because it's really good.
Fair choice. All right, I like that. Mine is Korean.
Of
What a
course it is.
surprise.
Are they both Korean by any chance?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, I've ever since I started watching Korean TV and movies, Hollywood just seems empty and bland.
I kind of, I think it's a little bit of a both
It's
situation, especially it's with modern content, like stuff that's
yeah.
coming out at the moment. There is a lot of hollowness
I'm not.
abound.
I fucking hate that we are filtering things because it might hurt someone's feeling, and I'm like, it's life. Like it's supposed to, you know, be controversial sometimes, and it's supposed to be imitating life sometimes. And I especially hate when people get butthurt over something that, you know, reflecting what's going on, and they are like, "Oh my God, that's awful! How could you do that?" And I'm like,
Hey guys, I don't know if you know this, but conflict is necessary to make a good story.
you kind of have to have it, and if you you know constantly start to tone it down and tone it back so much that it's like, oh, I'm just gonna be very careful here because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I'm like, your product is shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love that Koreans constantly call out and challenge their own society and the problems in it. One of the things that I will recommend is a big highlight in this, actually. And you know, they're not afraid to show things. They're not afraid to say things out loud that are actually, you know, part of our life. And you know, they're not afraid of flawed characters, which, you know, Hollywood seems to be very afraid of now. Like at this point, I'm like, you can't have any flaws because, like, you know, oh my God, it's so bad. I'm like, no, it's normal. We all have flaws, like. So yeah, the first one that I'm gonna go with the TV show first. It's very popular, but like I'm still gonna recommend it. Like, because I know that our audience is not specifically, like, you know, onto the Korean things, even though I've been screaming about it for 4 years now. But like, the title is Bad and Crazy. It's a fantastic 16-part TV show. It's one of those that has 1 hour episodes. They are all very fucking good. And it deals with how to say it without spoiling it. I don't know if I can say it. I don't want to spoil it for the two of you either, because I'm really hoping you're gonna go and watch it. It deals with trauma, but it deals with childhood trauma in a way that's very smart. And you can kind of catch up on what they are doing from the beginning if you are like into this kind of stuff. But I like that I showed it to one of my friends, and she's not big on like TV and movies, and it was a surprise reveal for her. So like, you know, if you're not watching these things, then you're gonna be surprised by it. I figured it out. I was so proud of myself. I'm so smart. But anyway, it has two of the greatest Korean actors in it, and one of them is going to be in my other recommendation as well. So the main character is played by Lee Dong-wook, who's just fantastic in anything he does. I love that. Whenever he is like doing interviews, he's like the Korean Cillian Murphy.
Oh, bless him.
He's just so dumb with everything. He's like, yeah, sure.
I love it.
Stop complimenting me. I'm going to die.
I just want to
My yeah. One of my favorite videos on TikTok that is going around right now is that he's just, you know, there's a fan meeting, I think, or it might be like a premiere or something, and he just goes around, like, but you can see that he's very bored and tired of it all, and he just goes around, grabs everyone's phones, turns around, gives it back, goes to the next one, gives it back, and I'm like, man, I feel you. I understand you. I know you're all dumb with this. Like,
did you see that one clip of him? I think it was played on Graham Norton, where it's like he looks disappointed after he laughs, where he's like, like immediately after.
Yeah, Lee Dong-wook does the same things, and I'm like, they started to compare them as well. I'm like, yeah, they should work together. Like, they should make a movie where it's Lee Dong-wook and Cillian Murphy, and they just, I don't know, it's a buddy cop or whatever. That it would work so well. I want to see that movie. But the other main character is played by Ri Ha-jun, who's gonna be in the next recommendation as well. Because I'm not gonna lie, he very quickly, within a year, grew to be my favorite actor easily. He's fucking brilliant in everything he does, and he is such a good character actor as well, which I always appreciated, because I'm a character actor as well, and I'm like, I always like when I find people who are similar. He's so good in this that this was the first thing I saw him in. You can all know him from Squid Game, by the way. He was the cop who sneaked on the island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
like him.
Yeah, and he's like, he's so different in everything. Like, you know, I know his face, and I love his smile. He has a beautiful smile, by the way. But he's just so different in everything he does. Like, he's in The Worst of Evil as well, the one I mentioned before. And he's like, he gets lost in the role, and I love that. And he's brilliant in this. It's a cop TV show, by the way. It's both of them are cops, basically, and it deals with one of the main problems in Korea, which is corruption. Highly recommended. It's very entertaining. They are very funny together. Like it's the best dynamic I've seen in a long while in anything really. And it's a fun watch. Like they are 1 hour episodes. It's 16 part. Is it 16? I think it's 16 series, and it has 3 acts. Like it is like separated into 3 different stories. It's so good. I think I watched it in 1 day. I'm not sure. Maybe I slept a little in between finishing it, but like I'm not sure. I don't remember anymore. It was so good. Highly recommended. It is on Netflix, so it makes it easier for you to reach it.
Oh
It's
yeah,
very
as a good point. Hannibal, at least in the UK, is also on Netflix. Just putting that out there.
I don't know if either of
nice.
my recommendations are anywhere easy to find.
Fair, 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 fair. All right, let's mix it up. Let's go with Katie next.
Jesus, sorry.
Go, go.
Utter
Okay.
panic.
Our house is currently in the process of we're getting ready for some renovations, and part of that process is that we've been getting rid of a bunch of stuff.
And can we
And
watch that on Netflix?
hang on, I'm getting there.
Is that on Amazon Prime?
Calm
No,
down.
maybe HBO Max or something.
I'm just trying to get you to how I
Yes.
remembered that this is a thing that I really like.
Okay.
Part of what we've been doing is that we got rid of a bunch of the DVD cases and
Yes.
put all the DVDs into little slots so that we have more space for them and everything. But it meant that I went through basically all my DVDs the other day, and was reminded A, that I have great taste, and B, just picking up DVD movies like, oh, this is a great film. I've got such good taste in movies. They're my movies.
Fine.
But I was reminded of this film that I bought a few, it was about 10 years ago at this point. And it's very funny because I went and looked it up the other day, and the reviews for it are really not very good, but I promise it's a very sweet film. It's called A Long Way Down.
Oh,
It is a British film based on a
Long Way
Nick
Down.
Hornby book
Yes.
of One Day and all those sorts of types of book fame.
Yes.
It's the premise is not particularly fun, but I promise it's a very sweet film.
Yes.
In that the basic conceit is that 4 strangers meet on a rooftop on New Year's Eve because they're all about to throw themselves
Oh,
off the building.
yeah.
And then over the course of a year, they kind of become very close, and they find camaraderie, and like it's all about kind of like finding reasons to live and all this sort of stuff, and like why certain people go through like points of suicidal feelings and all this sort of stuff. But it's very life affirming, and also the cast is stacked. It's a great cast. You've got Aaron Paul, which is part of the reason I watched it, because I was around the time
I
I
love
finished
Aaron Paul,
Breaking Bad. Imogen Poots, who is just very enjoyable to watch in most things. I don't think that we get to see her in much very often, but she's very good. Toni Collette and Pierce Brosnan. It's a really lovely movie. It introduced me to honestly one of my favorite songs by a band called Daughter, which is really funny. I say it's one of my favorite songs. I cannot remember what it's called right now.
Is that what it's called? I
Youth.
cannot remember
It's called
what
Youth.
Oh.
It's called Youth. The band is called Daughter. The song is called Youth. But it's a beautiful song. I kind of learned to play it on the guitar. It's one of those ones that I will just sort of play if I'm like trying to warm myself up to play a bit of guitar.
Yeah.
But it's actually I've watched it a few times now. It's just really funny reading all the reviews where it's like it doesn't really go into the seriousness of the topic, and I'm like, I don't think that's entirely true actually. I think it's actually it's not like a laugh out loud comedy, even though it is billed as a black comedy. I don't think it's actually that funny, but it's one of those ones that's got like a really there's a vibe to it that I very much enjoy in this sort of type of movie, which is like just sort of calm and kind of comforting, and you kind of get to know these people, and sometimes they're terrible. Pierce Brosnan's character in particular is kind of an asshole for most of it, but like you kind of get a sense of him and like how he changes and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Over the course of that year. Also, there's a great cover of "I Will Survive" by a band called Cake in it, which is fantastic. The music's great, basically, is what I'm saying. There's a really good little taste of music. Aaron Paul in particular is excellent in this film.
I mean, he's always excellent.
He is always
Let's be
excellent,
fair.
but he is like I think the standout of the cast. But I think he also gets the most to do in terms of like the dramatic parts. But yeah, he's. I just think he's particularly wonderful in it. I think it's unfairly rated poorly, to be honest. And
It's a good movie.
it's a lovely movie. It's very British.
It
I
is.
can't really describe it any differently. It just there is something very British about the whole thing, which makes sense because it is a British film, but there's a vibe.
Yeah,
A
But
British
yeah,
vibe.
that's one I would
I
recommend to
like
people.
that. You finally didn't recommend the same thing twice.
I was being good. I thought
Yeah,
about this. You gave us the thing, and I thought about it.
yeah. I'm so proud of you. Well done, Brian. You're up next.
Right. I was between these two for a while, but I'm gonna have to go with what my heart tells me to go to.
Yes.
Penny Dreadful,
Oh, I
Oh
fucking
yeah.
love Penny Dreadful.
my
Yes.
favorite show of all time. It's yeah, it's I think the best show I've ever seen. Not City of Angels, but the OG run. I think that started in 2016. I mean, talk about a stacked cast: Ava
Mm.
Green, Timothy Dalton, Josh
Josh
Hartnett.
Hartnett.
Yeah, it was just in Oppenheimer. Harry Treadaway, Billy Piper, Rory Kinnear. I mean, just all these. I'm missing people. Helen McCrory before she passed, obviously. I
Oh.
mean, just
Yeah.
incredible, incredible acting, and some of the best poetic, beautiful writing, and taking a
The
very goth.
storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was one of those stories where Logan, oh, what's his name? The guy who did. Oh no, John Logan,
John
who
Logan. Yeah.
also wrote, I believe, Skyfall as
Oh,
well. Yeah,
my
he
favorite Bond
planned
movie.
out Penny Dreadful for 5 years. It was his dream project. And all these storylines work and kind of
Mm-hmm.
coalesce together. And it's about, all these kind of stereotypical gothic movie monsters coming together and finding a family. And it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of remind me when you were saying, sometimes things that are grotesque in terms of violence can be seen as beautiful with the framing of shots with this show, and the way things are so poetic. It's just gorgeous.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
so I highly recommend if you like good acting or good writing or something that's pretty or any of the above with storytelling, it's a good show to go to. My other honorable recommendation, which I won't go into, was Devs by Alex Garland, which I love
Uh,
that show. But that's a different feeling, a different
mm.
vibe. So that's my.
No, I
I
think
love
that's a
that
great
choice.
choice. We spoke about Penny Dreadful. I can't remember. I don't think we were recording at the time, but we had a
Oh, I
long
think
No,
discussion about it.
yeah,
In
yeah,
that
yeah.
Penny Dreadful.
it's one of those ones. It was. I was saying to you that and Hemlock Grove get weirdly mixed up in my
Mhm.
brain quite a lot.
You love Hemlock Grove as well. Yes.
But yeah, I meant to watch Penny Dreadful a long time ago, and I never quite got around to it. But I
Oh,
should give it
do it.
another go.
Yes.
It's some of the best production designs
Oh,
I've ever seen. Costuming as well. It's
easy.
extraordinary. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm so glad because it was one of the things that brought Josh Hartnett back.
Mm-hmm.
And I always love Josh Hartnett. Like I will quickly plug in Lucky Number 11, which is I think it's one of his best movies, and it's not appreciated enough. And I fucking love. I just love the entire feel of the show as well.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just it was so good, so good. I loved it.
Amazing.
I didn't like what they did after.
No, I know. And then the last season was kind of rushed because I think it was canceled midway as well, which was a shame. But he
Yeah.
made it work mostly. What was the movie? Sorry, I missed it. That Josh Hartnett is in that you recommend?
Lucky Number 11.
Okay, cool, awesome.
I'm gonna send it over. It's
I
And she
appreciate
did
that.
say Slevin, not seven.
yeah,
No, no,
it's
no.
11.
That's what was in my brain. I'm like, something's happening in my head. Or
Yeah, no, because I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, okay, so I
Yeah,
gotcha.
it's very packed. It has Lucy Liu, Bruce Willis, Morgan Freeman. Is it Morgan Freeman? I
It
think it's
looks like
Morgan
Morgan
Freeman.
Freeman.
It is Morgan Freeman.
It's Morgan
Uh,
Freeman.
yes,
Ben
okay.
Kingsley, Stanley
Yes, Ben
Tucci.
Kingsley. Yeah,
What's this cast?
it's
wow.
such a good movie. If you guys haven't seen it, immediately put it on. I fucking love that movie. So
Well, I'll
it's
see you
so
guys. I'm gonna go watch it.
okay.
Bye.
Bye. Anyway, my real recommendation
Yes, you go.
is of course another Korean movie.
What?
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 Oh my god! What a surprise! As I mentioned, and this is where I have to do the comparison between Lee Hyun-jun's absolutely magical character acting, because in Bad and Crazy, he's this very funny, very charismatic guy who's just like, he always just pops up and just being like all over the place, and he's really great at fighting and whatnot, and he just puts a smile on your face, basically. That's the kind of guy he plays in Bad and Crazy, the series. And then we jump onto Midnight, which is a movie. It's a Korean movie. It was recommended by Mike Flanagan. I saw it on his Letterboxd. And first I was like, Mike Flanagan watching Korean movies is the best thing ever. But then I realized why he watched it. And it's even better than I ever expected. But in this movie, Lee Ha-joon plays a serial killer. And it's such a big change from what he's like and what he did so far that I was properly scared of him. And it's and he was very scary because he plays the kind of guy who can just immediately change how he acts around people. And when it's needed, he's like this ruthless killer, and then when he has to go in public and talk to the cops, for example, he's this very charming, very lovely guy who cannot do anything bad. Like, he's just, you can tell that he's very posh, and he's like just the kindest person. He must have a lot of money. It's like he has elegance and whatnot. And then when he has to switch back, you're like, oh fuck, Jesus Christ. And, I was just mesmerized by his acting. I had to watch it a second time because I was just concentrating on him. So I was like, okay, let's watch it again. But now let's look at the entire picture. And that's where Mike Flanagan comes in, who directed the fantastic movie, which I recommended so many times, Hush. Hush is a movie where Kate Siegel plays a deaf woman who lives in a secluded house in the forest, and she gets attacked by a serial killer. And since she is deaf, obviously getting away and finding ways to escape is even harder than it would be if you can hear things like, people running around your house and whatnot. There's an excellent shot in the movie where she's sitting on the sofa and you can already see the killer by the door, and it's like, turn around.
It's very
turn the
good
fuck
movie.
around. It's a fucking good movie. I fucking love that movie. Anyway, Midnight is the same premise, because our protagonist is a deaf woman who happens to find Lee Ha-joon's character's victims in one of the alleys, and she's still alive, and she doesn't know what to do. She gets in a cat and mouse chase with the serial killer, and then things escalate from there. And what I loved about this movie especially is that it places the entire premise of what Hush had into the city. And as I mentioned it before, it highlights one of the big problems in Korea in a very heartbreaking way. I'm not gonna lie. That's when I started to cry. It's towards the end of the movie, basically, but I'm not gonna spoil it entirely. But because the protagonist is deaf, they kind of ignore her throughout the entire thing. And it's fucking heartbreaking. And unfortunately, disabilities are still treated very poorly in Korea. It doesn't matter what kind of disability it is. And I like that they highlight this, and they make movies that are like, look, we might need to change this because this is not okay. And the ending of the movie is so fucking brilliant. And I loved it so much. And it really showcases how fantastic the actors are in their Tartar role, especially Lee Ha-joon, because I love him, so I have to highlight him. It's just so good. It's a very good movie. I highly, highly recommend it. Mike Flanagan recommends it. So, if you're not going to listen to me, listen to Mike Flanagan. That's the main message. It's unfortunately not up on Netflix here. I don't know if it's up on Netflix anywhere else in the UK or in the US. But if you can get your hands on it, I ordered it on Blu-ray, so I have it on Blu-ray.
When did it come out?
2022 or 3? Very recently. It's a very new movie.
2021, there it is.
2021. There you go.
I was just curious. Apparently you can rent it on Amazon Prime in the UK.
There you go.
Put
Get
that
it.
out there.
Honestly, just watch it. It's a very, very good movie. So yeah, that's my other recommendation. What a surprise. It's another Korean movie.
I just also want to point out that this is my honorable mention forever, because everybody should be watching The Leftovers, or at least watch it once because it's the best.
It's very
That's it.
depressing.
Yes,
Just be
but
prepared.
that's why you may only watch it once.
I only watched it once. It was very good. Never again.
Personally, I've watched it many times. I love it so much, but not enough people have seen it. That's it. Also, this poster rules. Every time I look at it, it's such a good poster.
It is. It is. It is a good poster. All right. So these were our recommendations. Just to refresh your memories, watch Slings and Arrows, Hannibal, Long Way Down, Penny Dreadful, Bad and Crazy, and Midnight. Whenever and wherever you can. They are very good ones. We picked them, so duh.
It must be good.
Yeah.
Good taste.
We have good taste. Come on. I just want to say this quickly because I know that Ian is going to watch this. I made Ian watch Train to Busan. I literally yelled at him. I was like, what the fuck do you mean you haven't seen Train to Busan? And then he ordered it and watched it the next day. And he loved it. Watch Train to Busan. Anyway, that's it. That's the message.
One of the very few Blu-rays I own because she sent it to me for my birthday.
I was like,
You were like,
Brian.
you have to watch this now.
Yes. Brian, have you seen Train to Busan?
No.
What?
My parents. No, when you looked at the camera and said watch it, it really felt personal. My parents love it. So yes, I will watch it. Okay.
It's a very good movie. It's a really good film.
Okay. No, I
Watch
know.
it, because we're gonna meet in May, and I have very
Yeah.
strong hands. Just
Yeah, I'll just put like one of those like braces around my neck just so I don't get you. Can I quickly say something I'm looking forward to seeing this week for people to look out to?
Yes.
Ripley with Andrew Scott comes out this week.
Oh, is that this
on Netflix.
week?
Yeah, on Thursday. So I just wanted to
Interesting.
throw that out there. That's all.
Yeah, the trailer for that came out a while ago, and I actually never got around to watching it. I should do that because do you know what? After all this time, I still don't know what The Talented Mr. Ripley's about.
What?
What?
It's Saltburn, but a little bit less intense, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it gets mentioned all the time, and I'm like, I don't know what this movie is.
You should check it out.
Okay.
Agreed.
That's the main thing. You should check it out. Anyway, this was us for this week. We're gonna be back next week. Don't ask what the topic is gonna be.
We don't know.
We don't know. I just figured it out by the day today, but whatever. Maybe it's gonna be a review. I don't know. I don't know.
We've hit a bit of a quiet period in terms of like
Yeah.
stuff coming out because like all the really good stuff came out at the beginning of the year. Now we're entering that bit where it's a bit more spaced out.
I know for a fact that one of the next reviews, 100% sure, is going to be Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
we
yeah.
must talk about it.
But that's not till June.
No,
May?
it's May 10th.
May okay.
10th.
Well,
Yeah.
that's still a bit. That's still a ways away. We've only just made it to April.
Away. Whatever.
We just made it to April.
It's going to go by so quickly. Anyway, this was us. Check us out on our social medias. It's going to be down in the description. And I now open my web shop, so I'm going to shamelessly self-promote myself. Please visit the Art of Lily. No, it's just artoflilykate.com. That's the one.
No
yes. And buy my stuff because I'm poor. And I drew pretty well. Too.
God,
So it's like I'm...
true.
She did the good Drew.
She she
I can't-
drawed very well. No, that's
Yeah.
that's lovely.
Yeah. So, please. Thank you. I'm gonna be at Comic Con in MCM in London in MCM. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna be there, and they're
She
gonna
will
be
be
there.
selling wares.
Yes. All right, and don't forget to subscribe. Tell us your recommendations in the comments because we like watching things, so why the hell not? Leave us a like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and rate us on Spotify and Apple, please, because it helps us rank better.
I've actually just recently discovered we're not actually on Apple.
We're not actually on Apple. Don't rate us there. You can't.
We have
Not yet.
we have old episodes on Apple, but because Anchor became Spotify owned,
Yeah.
I don't think our episodes actually go up on Apple anymore. But you can rate us on Spotify.
And please
Not
do.
yet. Damn it. Okay.
I don't know how that works. But
Not
we
yet.
Are... Not yet. However, we are on a bunch of other podcasting platforms other than Spotify, such as
Yes.
Google and etc. things. But I believe that our new episodes don't actually go out on Apple anymore, as I have discovered. So we're going to cut that down now.
Yes.
Right.
Go on Spotify and rate us, please. And thank you to Katie and Brian and me.
Thank
What's
you.
I don't know
happening
what's
here?
gonna need to be
What are you
today.
doing?
I don't know. Cut the check. Cut the check. Cut the
Cut the
check.
feed.
Cut
Watch
the
movies.
feed.
Cut the check. Cut the check. Cut the check.
Cut the check.
Cut the check. Cut the check. That's it. Cut the check. We're done.